Today we're talking about how to identify the best fiddle leaf fig plant when you're at the local garden center or home improvement store. The choices can be overwhelming. There's often a variety of sizes, shapes, and conditions to choose from. Now, we'll go into detail in a moment, but if you're at the store and you need to decide right now, here are the top 5 things to look for to select the healthiest fiddle leaf fig. First, check the condition of the leaves. Do any of them have brown spots? And then look at the shape and the size of the leaves. Are they small, dusty, curling, or drooping, or are they large, shiny, and strong? Next, look for new growth. The ideal plant has enough energy to be sprouting new leaves. And fourth, that new growth should be in good shape. Pass up a struggling bud in favor of a bright, happier looking new leaf like this one. And last but not at all least, pull out your mobile phone's flashlight feature and check in the nooks and crannies for teeny tiny bugs. Remember, if you see anything, just tell the garden center and pass it up. But you know, these days you don't even have to go to the store. Hi, I'm Meg Miller for FiddleLeafFigPlant.com, and I'm here with a few brand new additions to my Fiddle Leaf Fig Menagerie. I ordered these online and they've just arrived. I'm going to unbox them to show you exactly how I assess the health of a new fiddle leaf fig. This way, when you are at the store staring at a dozen healthy looking plants, you can choose the best ones. Or if, like me, you order them online, then you can identify each plant's strengths and weaknesses, as soon as they arrive. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing to know is that every online retailer of live plants packages their product differently. That means you have no idea how deep a knife will go before making contact with live tissue. That's why a super sharp knife is of utmost importance. It just ensures that you use the least amount of pressure possible, reducing the risk of a slip-up. Now, I am pleased to find in this first package a protective layer of bubble wrap. Believe it or not, this is not standard practice. It's superior, and I'm thankful for that extra safeguard. Removing this is a breeze, and as you can see, I'm more than delighted at the sight of these itty-bitty baby fiddle leaf fig trees. There's masking tape covering the soil, so I can tip them upside down and no dirt falls out. It's just smart, and they're darling. These are tiny, immature fiddle leaf figs that stand about 2 inches tall and cost me between $4 and $5 a piece. If I treat them well now, then they will treat me well later on. I cannot wait to give them the best care possible. Moving on now to our more mature 2-footer. Again, the importance of a sharp knife is key here. And as you will be able to see, the packaging is tight enough that I can't wiggle my arms down far enough into the box to grab that pot to pull it out. So you'll be able to see here. This just means that I will need to cut away the box instead of reaching down to pull that pot and the plant out. So here's how. Using my X-Acto knife, I apply very light pressure down the side of one corner. Not all the way down to the bottom, but just to the pot. This allows me to open one side like a door. See there? So at this point, pulling out the pot is fairly straightforward. As I heft it out, I am assessing its weight to determine just how wet the soil might be. And here you'll see me do a double take. tiny brown colored spots on those upper leaves had caught my attention. In a bit, I will just disturb them to see if they move, because if they do, then they are probably spider mites. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It's time to liberate this beauty from its packaging. So, as you can see, I'm taking assessment of this plant much more seriously than the little babies. That's not just because it's 5 or 6 times the price, but also because at this stage, it's got a lot more foliage to inspect for evidence of problems. Now, as you pull away the tape and paper, don't be surprised if loose dirt falls into your working surface. This is always an exciting moment when you find that there are no obvious signs of distress. Now, one thing nurseries always include is a stake. If the plant stands up on its own with slight pressure to the trunk, then you don't need the stick to prop it up. In fact, you'll weaken the trunk if you let it rely on that stake needlessly. So give your plant a test wiggle to see how it snaps back into an upright position. I've been quite pleased with this particular size of Fiddle leaf fig from online retailers. You know, it's the older, more mature ones that have given me trouble. Let's take a look. Here we are the next morning unpackaging a 4-footer. At first, I was delighted by what I saw. Minimal, if any, curled, dry, or brown spotted leaves. A ridiculously robust, thick trunk, but, oof, what was that? A few of what looked like fruit flies emerged with the tree. So that means fungus gnats. I unwrapped the plant and began inspecting it from the roots up. I know from experience that white fly larvae occupy the top 2 inches of soil, but they're microscopic, so if there is a problem, I knew I would only be seeing the adult fungus gnats. And saw them I did. As I move upward in my strategic inspection, I notice the roots sticking out of the top of the soil. Now, with other houseplants, this is an indication of the need to repot, but our Ficus lyrata, however, it just rolls this way naturally. So you don't need to worry about exposed top roots on this particular plant. Next, again, I observe a thick, strong trunk. Excellent. Now, you may be wondering why this trunk is naked while the last plant I unboxed looked like a bush. This one is more of a tree shape. The answer is simple, but again, you'll need to read another post on our site entitled Pruning and Shaping Your Fiddle Leaf Fig Plant to Keep It Healthy. That helpful article will show you what to expect at the various ages and stages of your favorite plant and how it turns from a bushy bush into a stately tree. Now it's time for me to look at the foliage. One thing I see here is a little hole in one of the leaves, which appears to be an injury, so it's not some insect's lunch. It won't repair itself, but this hole won't grow bigger either. Now to inspect the top leaves, I'll put it down here so I can reach them. And once again, I'm delighted to find some new growth here, the #1 indication of a thriving plant. I rely on this clue to comfort me if the plant goes into shock as I acclimate it to its new home. And the best part about this new growth is that it's characterized by big new leaves, not small, anemic, or reluctant little shoots. They just give me confidence as a caregiver. The final thing I see here is loose dirt everywhere. It's covering many of the leaves and branches, so this plant just needs a shower. And since my goal is to mimic its original homeland in tropical West Africa, I use 75-degree water and hope the tree appreciates my hospitable touches like this as it acclimates to its new life here with me. Now the final step to ensure a happy transition is just to grab a copy of the Fiddle Leaf Fig Expert, the new book out by Claire Aiken. It really is the ultimate guide to what exactly comes next. Oh, and join me and Claire in the Fiddle Leaf Fig Plant Resource Facebook group, a free online community that offers advice and experience. It's also a place where you can share pictures of fiddle leaf fig trees that you would love to bring home, but that really do belong with someone else. So, as always, good luck and thank you for watching.